Ford Mustang GT. This is the car that represents the very soul of American performance, but it's also a Mustang that has evolved for a new era. Ford has managed to blend raw muscle with modern tech, aggressive design with real-world usability, and driving excitement with surprising refinement. So let's take a detailed look at everything this car has to offer: the exterior styling, the interior upgrades, the performance under the hood, and of course, how much it'll set you back if you're considering owning one. When you first lay eyes on the 2026 Mustang GT, you immediately recognize it as a Mustang, but you also notice it's sharper, more modern, and more confident than any generation before. The front end has been completely reworked with slimmer LED headlights that cut back aggressively into the fenders, giving it a predatory stare. The grille is slightly wider, framed in gloss black with an integrated pony emblem that looks bold without being too flashy. The hood lines are muscular, featuring twin heat extractors that aren't just cosmetic. They're designed to help cool the engine bay during hard driving. Move to the side profile and you'll see classic Mustang proportions remain intact: a long hood, a short rear deck, and a fastback roofline. But Ford has sculpted the body with deeper side creases and aerodynamic refinements that help reduce drag while improving high-speed stability. Around back, the signature tri-bar LED taillights are there, more angular than before, and the quad exhaust tips let everyone know this is no ordinary coupe. The stance is athletic, sitting on 19-inch alloy standard with optional 20s if you want to fill the wheel arches even more aggressively. The overall look strikes that perfect balance between heritage and modern edge. It's still unmistakably Mustang. But reimagined for 2026, step inside, and this is where the Mustang feels the most transformed compared to the generations before it. Ford has gone all in on digital technology while still giving drivers the emotional connection to the car. Right in front of you is a massive curved display that merges the 12.4-inch digital instrument cluster with a 13.2-inch center touchscreen, running the latest Sync 4 system. It feels futuristic but not overwhelming. You can customize the instrument cluster to show everything from classic Mustang dials to track-focused layouts with shift lights and lap timers. The infotainment is crisp, responsive, and supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Physical buttons are reduced, but Ford has cleverly kept essential controls like volume and climate settings easily accessible, so you're not digging through menus while driving. The materials have also taken a noticeable step up. Soft touch plastics, stitched leather, aluminum accents, and available suede trim give the cabin a more premium vibe than older Mustangs, which sometimes felt a little too utilitarian. The front sport seats are supportive, with available Recaros for enthusiasts who want that extra grip during spirited driving. They're heated and ventilated, which means comfort isn't sacrificed even in everyday use. Space in the back seats is still tight, it's a Mustang after all, but usable for short trips or kids. The trunk offers decent practicality, enough for a weekend getaway, though no one is buying this car for cargo capacity. What makes the interior really stand out is how it bridges tradition and modernity. You feel like you're sitting in something high-tech. But there are subtle nods to Mustang history throughout. From the toggle-style switches to the classic pony emblem etched into the startup animations. Of course, the heart of the Mustang GT has always been under the hood, and the 2026 model doesn't disappoint. Powering this beast is the latest evolution of Ford's iconic 5.0-liter Coyote V8. It now produces a staggering 500 horsepower and around 420 pound-feet of torque, thanks to refined fuel delivery, improved internals, and better cooling. It's naturally aspirated, which means throttle response is immediate and linear, and the sound is pure mechanical music. No turbos to mute the soundtrack, just raw, growling V8 thunder. Ford gives you the choice of a 6-speed manual for purists, or a 10-speed automatic for those who want the quickest shifts and best straight-line performance. 0 to 60 comes in around 3.8 seconds with the auto, while the manual is slightly slower but far more engaging for those who live for the driving experience. Top speed? North of 170 miles per hour. Handling has been fine-tuned as well. The chassis is stiffer, steering is sharper, and the MagneRide adaptive suspension available on higher trims. gives you the flexibility to cruise comfortably on the highway or carve corners with precision on a back road. The rear-wheel drive setup delivers classic Mustang dynamics, but with more composure than older models that sometimes felt a bit unruly at the limit. Modes like normal, sport, track, and even a customizable setup let you dial in the car to your mood. And yes, line lock and launch control are still there for those who want to leave their mark at the drag strip. Braking performance is equally impressive, with massive Brembo brakes available that give you confidence to push hard without fade. The balance between performance and usability is really what defines this Mustang. You can daily drive it without feeling like it's punishing you, but when you want to unleash it, the car transforms into a true performance machine. Ford has also leaned into driver assist tech more heavily than before. Features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and automatic emergency braking are all available, giving you peace of mind in traffic. Yet, Ford has managed to keep these systems from dulling the raw driver connection that Mustang owners crave. You can turn most of them off if you prefer a purer driving experience. Now let's talk pricing, because that's always a big factor. The 2026 Mustang GT starts at around $47,000 for the base model, which is still an incredible deal for the performance you're getting. Step up to a premium trim with more luxury and tech, and you're looking at closer to $52,000. If you want the performance pack, with the upgraded suspension, larger brakes, and stickier tires, you'll be in the mid-$50,000 range. Fully loaded with Recaro seats, MagnaRide, premium audio, and every option box ticked, you could push into the low 60,000s. Considering the horsepower, the design, the heritage, and the sheer excitement this car delivers, it remains one of the best performance values on the market, especially when you compare it to European rivals that often cost twice as much for similar numbers. What makes the 2026 Mustang GT so special is that it refuses to compromise on what makes a Mustang a Mustang. It's modernized with cutting-edge technology, but it hasn't lost the soul of a muscle car. It's faster, sharper, and more advanced than ever, but it still gives you that visceral connection when you drop a gear and hear that V8 roar. It's more refined and premium inside, yet still affordable enough for enthusiasts to realistically aspire to own. And in a time when many performance cars are moving toward downsized engines or full electrification, Ford has doubled down on the naturally aspirated V8, giving fans what they truly want. So whether you're looking at the Mustang GT as your next daily driver, your weekend fun car, or just admiring it as a symbol of what American performance stands for, the 2026 model is a triumph. It's a car that respects its past, but pushes boldly into the future. And at the end of the day, it delivers what every Mustang should. The thrill of the drive, the sound of a V8 at full song, and the kind of presence that makes you turn your head every time you walk away from it. That's our full review of the 2026 Ford Mustang GT. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Ford nailed it with this one? Or do you prefer the simplicity of older generations? And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next road test. Until next time, keep driving with passion. Audi R8. This car has always been a statement piece in Audi's lineup, a symbol of engineering precision, driving emotion, and design that turns heads everywhere it goes. Now in its latest evolution, the R8 is not just a supercar, but also a technological showcase that blends performance, luxury, and cutting-edge innovation. Let's break down everything you need to know about the exterior, the interior, the performance, and of course the pricing of this new beast. First, let's talk about the design, because before you even get behind the wheel, the R8's presence alone tells a story. Audi has sharpened the already aggressive stance of the R8 for 2026, giving it a more sculpted body that communicates both elegance and raw performance. The front fascia now features an even larger, bolder single-frame grille with a honeycomb mesh that seems to stretch wider and lower, making the car appear more planted to the road. The LED matrix headlights are slimmer, sharper, and give off a futuristic laser light signature that feels almost alive when you unlock the car. It's the kind of lighting tech Audi has been perfecting for years. And here it takes on a dramatic effect. Along the sides, The R8 retains its iconic blade design, but Audi has reimagined it with a more aerodynamic purpose. These panels are now crafted with lightweight carbon fiber and channel air more efficiently toward the rear, reducing drag while keeping the dramatic supercar look intact. The roofline is low and flowing, the glasshouse is tight, and the doors carve deep muscular creases across the body. Rolling on 20-inch lightweight forged wheels with performance tires, the stance is aggressive but not over the top. Audi still maintains that balance between sophistication and race-bred aggression, something that distinguishes the R8 from flashier rivals. Move around to the rear, and the car looks wider, meaner, and more futuristic than ever. The full-width LED light bar connects the tail lights, emphasizing its broad hips. Beneath, you'll notice massive air outlets and an active rear diffuser that automatically adjusts for stability at high speeds. The quad exhausts are gone, replaced with dual oversized oval tips that look cleaner while still sounding ferocious. The rear spoiler, depending on the trim, is either a subtle retractable element or a fixed carbon fiber wing for the performance variants. It's a car that looks like it belongs on the track but still fits on city streets. Step inside, and the R8 reminds you that it's an Audi before anything else, a masterclass in build quality and driver focus. The cabin cocoons you with a mixture of leather, Alcantara, carbon fiber, and brushed aluminum. Everything feels solid, tightly put together, and purposeful. The seats are deep buckets with perfect bolstering, holding you tight during hard cornering, but still comfortable enough for long drives. The driving position is spot on, low and commanding, with excellent visibility out the front. The dashboard design is clean and minimal, centered around Audi's virtual cockpit. This 12.3-inch digital display puts all your vital information right in front of you, whether it's navigation, performance metrics, or multimedia. For 2026, Audi has refined the graphics even further, giving you customizable layouts that can prioritize a massive tachometer in track mode, or a more relaxed minimalist look when you're just cruising. The infotainment system is faster, more intuitive, and fully compatible with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also built-in AI voice assistance, which lets you control almost every function with natural commands, so you never have to take your hands off the wheel. The steering wheel itself is loaded with controls, including performance mode selectors, launch control activation, and even customizable buttons for your favorite settings. It feels like something straight out of a race car, yet wrapped in soft leather with a flat bottom and just the right thickness. Audi also went a step further with sound insulation, so the cabin is quieter when you want it to be, but the exhaust valves open up instantly with the push of a button if you want that glorious R8 soundtrack to fill your ears. Storage space is limited, as expected in a mid-engine supercar, but you get just enough room in the front trunk for a couple of weekend bags. Practicality was never the point here, but Audi still manages to make the R8 livable in ways some rivals are not. Now let's get to what really matters: performance. At the heart of the 2026 Audi R8 lies the legendary naturally aspirated V10, but this time around it's been reworked for even more efficiency, response, and power. Audi is offering two versions. The standard model makes around 570 horsepower, while the performance variant cranks it up to about 630 horsepower, sending all that power through a lightning-fast 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. 0 to 60 happens in just about 3 seconds flat, with a top speed north of 200 miles per hour. What's truly special, though, is not just the numbers, but the way the R8 delivers its performance. The V10 revs out to a screaming 8,700 RPM, giving you that old-school race car sensation with every pull of the throttle. Power delivery is instant, smooth, and linear, unlike the abrupt punch of turbocharged rivals. It's an engine that connects to your soul, reminding you why enthusiasts cherish naturally aspirated motors in an era where most brands are moving to smaller turbocharged setups or hybrids. Audi's legendary Quattro all-wheel drive system has also been updated, making the car more playful when you want it, but still unshakably stable when conditions get tricky. Torque can be sent almost entirely to the rear wheels for a more dynamic feel, or balanced perfectly for grip in corners. Add to that adaptive magnetic suspension, rear wheel steering, and carbon ceramic brakes, and you've got a car that's as sharp on the track as it is refined on the highway. The balance between everyday usability and uncompromising performance is where the R8 really shines. Of course, the 2026 model also takes a step into the future with its mild hybrid system. This doesn't mean the car is going electric just yet, but a small electric motor assists with efficiency, smooth start-stop functions, and low-speed maneuvering. It slightly boosts fuel economy and helps reduce emissions without compromising the raw character of the V10. Audi has hinted that this could be the last purely combustion-powered R8, making this generation a true collector's item. Now let's talk pricing, because owning an icon like this doesn't come cheap. The 2026 Audi R8 is expected to start at around $175,000 for the base coupe, while the performance variant pushes closer to $215,000. If you want the Spider convertible version, add another $15,000 to $20,000 depending on the trim. Fully loaded with bespoke customization, carbon upgrades, and exclusive paint options, the R8 can easily touch the $250,000 mark. When you consider what you're getting, a naturally aspirated V10, Audi's engineering pedigree, daily usability, and timeless design, it still undercuts some of its rivals like the Lamborghini Huracan or Ferrari F8 Tributo, making it somewhat of a bargain in the world of exotic cars. So what's the verdict? The 2026 Audi R8 is a car that doesn't just push the envelope, it reminds us why we fell in love with cars in the first place. It's got the looks, the interior craftsmanship, the screaming performance, and the usability that few supercars can match. In an age where electrification is becoming the norm, the R8 stands tall as one of the last true naturally aspirated supercars you can buy new. It's a celebration of sound, speed, and sensation, packaged in Audi's unmistakable style. If you're someone who wants a car that can thrill you on a racetrack, impress on the boulevard, and still handle the daily commute without fuss, the 2026 R8 makes a very strong case for itself. It's emotional, it's precise, and it's a piece of automotive history in the making. And that's our full breakdown of the 2026 Audi R8. Let me know what you think of this car in the comments. Would you choose this over something like a Porsche 911 Turbo S or a McLaren Artura? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to MVP Road Car for more deep dive reviews, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Volkswagen Beetle is here, and it's not just a revival, it's a complete reimagination of a cultural legend. From the exterior styling to the cabin experience, to the way it performs on the road and even its pricing. We're going through every detail, so by the end of this video, you'll know whether this car is worth the hype and potentially a spot in your driveway. The Beetle has always been about character. Even people who don't know much about cars recognize its silhouette. And Volkswagen has leaned into that heritage while also pushing the design forward. Right away when you see it, you can tell it's a Beetle. But this 2026 version feels futuristic. The front end is much smoother and more aerodynamic, with slimmer LED headlights that still keep that circular Beetle charm. There's a light bar that stretches across the nose, giving it a modern electric car vibe. The hood curves are tighter, and the front bumper is more integrated with subtle air channels to reduce drag. Along the sides, you get that familiar rounded roofline that flows into the rear in one elegant sweep. But unlike the old Beetle, this one sits lower and wider, giving it a sportier stance. Depending on the trim, you can get wheels ranging from 18 to 21 inches. And Volkswagen has introduced some really vibrant paint colors that nod to the Beetle's playful past. Things like retro pastel blue, sunflower yellow, and even a two-tone option that feels like a modern version of the 1960s Beetle personality. The flush door handles, hidden aerodynamic tricks, and clean panel gaps all make it look more upscale than any Beetle before it. Moving to the back, the taillights are now a continuous LED strip, tying together the rounded rear end. The hatch is wide, and depending on whether you go with the standard or performance model, you'll notice subtle differences like a sportier rear diffuser or even a small retractable spoiler. Overall, the exterior makes the Beetle stand out again, not as a nostalgic relic, but as something genuinely contemporary. Stepping inside is where Volkswagen really surprises. The interior has always been the weak point in older Beetles. Quirky but cheap. This time, they've turned it into something that feels premium, playful, and tech-driven all at once. The dashboard has a sweeping design with color-matched accents that echo the exterior paint. If you pick a green Beetle, you'll see subtle green highlights around the vents and stitching. If you pick white, you'll see a contrasting interior that keeps it airy and bright. At the center is a large, floating 15-inch touchscreen running Volkswagen's latest infotainment system. With wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and even an AI-powered voice assistant that can adjust your climate or suggest routes based on your habits. The driver gets a fully digital 12-inch display, crisp and customizable. What's cool is the nostalgic touches they've added. The glove box still opens downward like the classic Beetle, and there's a tiny flower holder on the dash, a nod to the models from the 2000s. The seats are available in vegan leather or recycled fabric blends, but don't let that fool you. They're supportive, well-cushioned and heated and ventilated in higher trims. Space-wise, this Beetle has grown. Thanks to the electric platform underneath, the floor is flat, meaning rear passengers get more legroom than ever before. 2 adults can sit comfortably in the back, something that wasn't always true in earlier Beetles. Cargo space is also improved, with a decent trunk and even a small front storage compartment. When it comes to performance, this is where the new Beetle completely separates itself from its past. Gone is the small gas engine, and in its place is a fully electric drivetrain. The base model comes with a single motor on the rear wheels producing around 250 horsepower, which already makes it much quicker than the Beetles we remember. 0 to 60 happens in about 6.5 seconds, which is plenty for city and highway driving. Step up to the dual-motor all-wheel drive version, and things get more exciting. That version pushes closer to 370 horsepower, with a 0 to 60 time around 4.7 seconds. It feels almost hot hatch quick, but with the smooth, instant torque delivery you expect from an EV. The handling benefits from the battery placement under the floor, keeping the center of gravity low. It corners flatter, feels more planted, and you get the sense that this Beetle isn't just for cruising around town anymore. It can genuinely put a smile on your face on twisty roads. Volkswagen has tuned the ride to strike a nice balance. Around town, it's soft and comfortable, but in sport mode, it tightens up just enough to feel responsive. The steering is light at low speeds, making parking and maneuvering easy, but firms up on the highway for more stability. Regenerative braking is adjustable, so you can set it to coast like a regular car or crank it up for one-pedal driving. Range is another strong point. The standard version with the smaller battery gives you about 270 miles on a full charge, while the extended battery pushes that to around 340 miles. Fast charging capability is built in, allowing you to go from 10% to 80% in about 28 minutes if you're plugged into a high-speed charger. That makes it a practical EV for daily use, commuting, and even some road trips. Technology and safety features are abundant. Every Beetle comes with adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and automatic emergency braking. Higher trims add features like augmented reality heads-up display, a 360-degree camera system, and even semi-autonomous driving for highway cruising. Volkswagen is clearly positioning the Beetle not just as a retro fun car, but as a legitimate competitor in the modern EV space. Now let's talk about pricing, because this is always where people get curious. Volkswagen knows the Beetle has wide appeal, so they've set it up with multiple trims. The base model starts around $32,000. Which puts it in the same ballpark as something like a Hyundai Kona EV or Nissan Leaf Plus. The mid-range, long-range trim is expected to be closer to $38,000, while the dual-motor performance model will likely top out around $45,000 fully loaded. For what you're getting, the design, the tech, the improved space, and the performance, it's actually a competitive price point in today's EV market. So what's the takeaway here? The 2026 Volkswagen Beetle isn't just a nostalgia play. It's a full reinvention that honors the past while being completely ready for the future. The design immediately connects you to the heritage, but the execution feels new and premium. The interior finally gives you quality and space, while still holding on to the playful touches that make the Beetle special. And performance-wise, it's leaps and bounds beyond any Beetle before it, now delivering speed, handling, and range that make it a serious contender among compact EVs. This car is perfect for someone who wants character in their daily driver but doesn't want to compromise on technology or modern performance. It's for people who remember the Beetle fondly, and for a whole new generation who will see it not as a retro throwback but as a stylish, fun EV in its own right. So the big question is the Beetle back for good this time? From what we're seeing, the answer is yes. This feels like more than just another reboot. It feels like Volkswagen has found a way to carry the spirit of the Beetle into an electric future. And if the market responds the way I think it will, the Beetle could become a common sight on roads once again. That wraps up our deep dive into the 2026 Volkswagen Beetle. If you enjoyed this review and want more detailed looks at upcoming cars, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next on MVP Road Car. Chevrolet Impala SS. For years, the Impala name has carried a lot of weight in American automotive history, and with the revival of the SS badge, Chevy is aiming to bring back that mix of muscle, comfort, and modern performance that defined this car in its golden era. This isn't just another sedan, this is Chevy's attempt to balance old-school DNA with the demands of today's drivers. So let's take a closer look at every detail. From the exterior styling to the cabin technology, the performance under the hood, and of course where it stands in terms of pricing and value. At first glance, the 2026 Impala SS makes a strong impression. The designers clearly leaned into a more muscular profile while keeping the elegant sedan proportions that made the Impala recognizable for decades. The front fascia is aggressive but not overdone, with a wide blacked-out grille and a subtle SS badge integrated neatly into the mesh pattern. Slim LED headlights sweep back along the hood, giving the car a sharp, modern face, and down below you've got functional air intakes that hint at the performance behind them. Chevy went with a long sculpted hood, short deck lid, and a sweeping roofline that almost gives it a fastback look. And that's going to appeal to both traditional sedan buyers and those who might be looking at sportier options. The car sits on 20-inch wheels as standard, with optional 21-inch alloys if you want to push the stance even further. From the side profile, the beltline has a confident rise toward the rear, and the slightly flared fenders give the Impala SS a planted, wide-track look. Around the back, it's all about subtle muscle cues: quad exhaust tips, LED taillights with a smoked finish, and a lip spoiler that's just enough to add character without being flashy. It looks purposeful, it looks modern, and it definitely carries that SS attitude. Sliding inside, Chevy has given the Impala SS an interior that blends comfort and sport. The first thing you notice is how driver-focused the cockpit feels. You've got a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster right in front of you with SS-specific graphics, and next to it, a 13-inch central infotainment display angled slightly toward the driver. The infotainment system is Chevy's latest, with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, built-in navigation, and a new voice assistant that actually feels intuitive rather than gimmicky. The steering wheel is flat-bottomed with perforated leather, contrast stitching, and paddle shifters tucked behind it. SS badging is stitched into the seats and embossed on the headrests. And speaking of seats, the front buckets are heavily bolstered, but still comfortable enough for long highway cruises. Materials across the cabin have taken a big step up compared to older Chevy sedans. You'll find soft-touch panels, aluminum trim, and optional carbon fiber accents if you want that sportier vibe. Ambient lighting runs along the dash and doors, customizable in multiple colors, and the center console has a wireless charging pad plus plenty of storage for modern everyday life. In the rear, Chevy didn't forget about passengers either. The Impala SS has generous legroom and headroom, making it a legitimate full-size sedan that can carry 4 adults in comfort. The trunk space is massive, over 18 cubic feet, which is more than enough for road trips, luggage, or even golf bags. So the car hasn't lost that practicality that Impala buyers always appreciated. Now let's talk about the part most of you are waiting for, the performance. Under the hood, the 2026 Impala SS comes with a 3.6-liter twin-turbocharged V6 pushing out around 400 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission that delivers power smoothly, but also gives you quick downshifts when you want to push it. Chevy is offering it in rear-wheel drive as standard, but you can option it with all-wheel drive if you want better grip, especially in regions with harsher weather. 0 to 60 comes in just about 4.5 seconds, which is quick for a full-size sedan, putting it right in line with some European sports sedans that cost a whole lot more. Top speed is electronically limited to 155 miles per hour. The chassis tuning is where Chevy really impressed. The Impala SS uses adaptive suspension that can switch between comfort and sport modes. So in one moment you've got a smooth highway cruiser, and in the next, it stiffens up to handle corners with surprising agility for a car this size. The steering is precise, not overly heavy but with enough feedback to make spirited driving enjoyable. Brembo brakes come standard on the SS trim, with large ventilated discs that give you confident stopping power. And the exhaust note has been tuned to deliver a deep growl when you step on it without being intrusive when you're just cruising. For buyers who want to push things even further, Chevy offers a performance package that includes a limited slip differential, summer performance tires, and an upgraded cooling system to handle track days or aggressive driving. Fuel economy obviously isn't the main reason you buy a performance sedan like this, but the twin-turbo V6 does deliver respectable numbers. You're looking at around 21 miles per gallon in the city and up to 29 on the highway with rear-wheel drive, slightly lower with all-wheel drive. That's not bad considering the performance, and it's definitely more efficient than the old V8 setups from previous generations. On the technology and safety side, Chevy has loaded the Impala SS with modern driver assist features. You've got adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, automatic emergency braking, and even hands-free highway driving through Chevy's Super Cruise system on certain trim levels. That adds a layer of convenience and safety that makes this car just as suitable for long commutes as it is for weekend fun. Now, when it comes to pricing, Chevy has positioned the Impala SS to be competitive in the sports sedan segment. The base SS starts right around $49,000, with a fully loaded model pushing into the mid-$60,000 range, depending on options like all-wheel drive, premium audio, or the performance package. That means it's undercutting many of its European rivals while offering similar performance and technology. You're essentially getting a full-size American sedan with muscle car spirit, modern luxury, and everyday usability at a price that's hard to argue with. So, who is this car really for? If you've been longing for the return of a proper full-size Chevy sedan that doesn't just check the boxes for space and comfort, but also brings real excitement behind the wheel, the 2026 Impala SS might just be your answer. It's not pretending to be a Camaro, it's not pretending to be a Corvette. It's its own thing, a modern sports sedan with American roots and a balanced personality. You can daily drive it, you can take your family on a trip in it, and at the same time, it'll put a smile on your face when you decide to push that throttle. The 2026 Impala SS represents a kind of rebirth for Chevy's sedan lineup. In a market that's dominated by SUVs and crossovers, Chevy made a bold move bringing back the Impala name in this way. And honestly, it works. The styling is fresh, the interior feels premium, the tech is up to date, and the performance is genuinely exciting. It's the kind of car that makes you remember why sedans used to rule the road, and why they still have a place for drivers who want something more engaging than just another tall, heavy SUV. If you're cross-shopping, you'll probably compare this with something like the Dodge Charger's last hurrah models. maybe even the Chrysler 300 if that stays alive, but also with imports like the BMW 5 Series, the Audi A6, or even the Genesis G80. Against those, the Impala SS brings a mix of value, power, and space that makes it very competitive. It may not have the badge prestige of the Germans, but it has the kind of character that makes you feel like you're driving something special every day. So overall, the 2026 Chevrolet Impala SS is more than just a revival of a classic nameplate. It's a statement that Chevy still believes in the sedan as a platform, and not just any sedan, but one that can stand toe-to-toe with performance-oriented rivals while keeping that American identity intact. If you're in the market for a full-size car that blends style, muscle, and modern tech, this deserves to be on your short list. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the 2026 Chevy Impala SS. Let me know in the comments if this is a car you'd consider adding to your garage, and whether you think Chevy nailed the return of the SS badge. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stick around because we've got plenty more reviews and road tests coming your way right here on MVP Road Car. MVP Road Car. Today we're diving into one of the most anticipated revivals in the American muscle car scene, the 2026 Plymouth Roadrunner. For decades, the Roadrunner has been a symbol of raw power, retro charm, and accessible performance. And now, after years of dormancy, it's roaring back into the spotlight. What we're looking at isn't just another muscle car with a famous badge slapped on it. This is a careful blend of heritage and modern engineering designed to bridge the gap between nostalgia and innovation. And believe me, once you take a close look at the details, you'll realize this car isn't here just to live off its legacy. It's here to reset the bar for what an American performance car should be. Let's start with what your eyes catch first, the exterior. Plymouth's designers have clearly gone back to the late 60s and early 70s blueprints for inspiration, and then run it through a modern filter. The silhouette is unmistakably muscular, long hood, wide stance, and short rear deck. But instead of just copying the past, it feels like a reimagined future version of the Roadrunner. The front fascia has a bold split grille, flanked by thin LED headlights that echo the round units of the classic model, but with a futuristic edge. You'll also notice an active front splitter that adjusts depending on speed, helping balance aerodynamic drag and downforce. The hood scoop is functional, channeling cool air straight into the performance-tuned power plant beneath. Along the sides, the sculpted bodywork shows off exaggerated fender flares that give it an aggressive, road-hugging look. The roofline tapers smoothly to the rear, where you'll find a spoiler integrated almost seamlessly into the trunk lid. Out back, the taillights span the width of the car, a glowing red strip that pays tribute to the retro design while looking thoroughly modern. The quad exhaust tips, integrated into a diffuser, leave no doubt about this car's intentions. Wheel options range from 19-inch lightweight alloys on the base trim up to 21-inch forged wheels on the performance package, wrapped in sticky high-performance tires. The stance is low and wide, giving the Roadrunner a planted, menacing presence even before you start it. Plymouth also offers a set of heritage colors like Plum Crazy Purple, Hemi Orange, and B5 Blue, alongside new finishes with satin and matte options. It's a car that immediately draws eyes at a stoplight and turns into a centerpiece. In any parking lot, step inside and you'll see how Plymouth worked hard to make the Roadrunner more than just a raw muscle machine. The interior strikes a balance between retro cues and modern luxury. You get a driver-focused cockpit with a flat-bottom steering wheel, leather and Alcantara upholstery, and available retro-inspired houndstooth inserts that nod back to the original 70s cars. The digital instrument cluster is fully customizable, with themes that can switch between classic gauge layouts and futuristic displays with performance telemetry. The center console houses a large 14-inch infotainment screen powered by Stellantis' latest Uconnect system, supporting wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and over-the-air updates. Despite its performance nature, the Roadrunner doesn't skimp on creature comforts. Heated and ventilated seats, a premium Harman Kardon sound system, wireless charging, and a panoramic sunroof are all available. There's even a drive mode selector on the center tunnel that lets you toggle between eco, comfort, sport, and track settings, each altering suspension stiffness, throttle mapping, and steering feedback. For a muscle car, it's surprisingly practical. The rear seats can fold down to expand trunk space, making it capable of handling weekend getaways without forcing you to travel light. Fit and finish are solid, with soft touch materials on most surfaces, brushed aluminum accents, and ambient lighting that can be tuned to your mood. Now let's talk about what really matters in a road runner: performance. Under the hood, you'll find multiple options depending on trim level. The base model starts with a 3.6-liter twin-turbo V6 hybrid system producing around 420 horsepower. It's efficient, quick, and aimed at those who want style without going full-out muscle. But the real star of the lineup is the return of a Hemi V8, in this case a 6.4-liter naturally aspirated unit pumping out a healthy 550 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic, sending power to the rear wheels for a proper muscle car experience. For those wanting something wilder, Plymouth is offering the Roadrunner SRT, which uses a supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi producing 707 horsepower. This trim can rocket from 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds and hit the quarter mile in the low 11s. It features launch control, upgraded Brembo brakes, and adaptive suspension, making it capable of not only straight-line sprints, but also handling corners far better than its ancestors ever could. There are rumors of an all-electric variant joining the lineup in 2027, but for now, the focus is very much on gasoline-powered thrills, with a nod to hybrid efficiency on the lower trims. The driving experience is where the Roadrunner cements its identity. Steering is precise, with excellent feedback through the wheel, and the suspension does a great job balancing comfort with performance. The car feels planted in high-speed sweepers and remains composed under heavy braking. With active exhaust, you can switch between a restrained growl for city driving or a full-on roar that announces your presence long before you arrive. It's visceral, it's loud, and it's exactly what you'd expect a modern Roadrunner to sound like. As for safety and technology, Plymouth hasn't forgotten modern buyers. Advanced driver assistance systems are available, including adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, and automatic emergency braking. These features don't intrude on the raw experience, but provide peace of mind for daily driving. Finally, let's talk pricing, because part of the Roadrunner's appeal has always been delivering a lot of car for the money. The base V6 hybrid starts around $42,000, which positions it competitively against cars like the Ford Mustang EcoBoost and Chevrolet Camaro LT1. The V8 model starts closer to $55,000, which is still a bargain for the performance you're getting. The SRT supercharged variant pushes into the $75,000 range, making it the flagship of the lineup, but still undercutting European sports cars with similar power figures. With customization packages, unique paint jobs, and performance add-ons, a fully loaded Roadrunner can approach $90,000, but that's only if you check every box. For most buyers, the sweet spot will be in the $55,000 to $65,000 range, where you're getting authentic muscle performance without breaking the bank. So, what's the verdict? The 2026 Plymouth Roadrunner isn't just a nostalgic badge revival, it's a true modern muscle car with the soul of the classic. It's aggressive on the outside, comfortable on the inside, blisteringly fast when you want it to be, and still practical enough for everyday use. Plymouth has managed to honor the heritage while pushing the car into the future with modern technology and engineering. Whether you're after the entry-level model or the fire-breathing SRT, there's a Roadrunner that captures the essence of old-school muscle but refines it for today's drivers. If you've been waiting for the return of an American icon that blends retro style with modern performance, the wait is over. The Roadrunner is back and it's better than ever.